What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and more specifically my Road to Pro series. In this week's episode, I want to be doing something different. I want to be taking you through a card workout that I actually purchased on Amazon. As you can see here, here's the card workout. It's the bodyweight stack 52. They do offer different variations, like dumbbell variations, but with us being at home and being very limited on equipment, I figured this one would be pretty cool to try out. I paid $35 for it. So we're gonna see how it goes. So the purpose of today's video is to show you guys that you can get an extremely effective bodyweight workout in at home that's able to challenge you. I think the card games just really allows that for that unpredictability aspect. So if you find that you are losing the motivation for your workouts are kind of getting stale and you find yourself doing the same exercises, then I highly encourage you guys maybe to invest in buying a card workout off Amazon. If you don't want to do so, then I actually highly recommend you guys check out my Jeff Nippards card workout that I actually went through myself. I do not own the rights to that workout. It was actually created by Jeff Nippards, but I decided to do it. And I highly encourage you guys to check out even his channel for the full card workout, or if you want to see me do it, I'll link it up in the cards above. But yeah, I think card workouts are great for that unpredictability aspect and to really continue challenging yourself. And I'm also going to be able to use this video as a review for the product as well, because this will be my first time doing it. However, with that being said, if you don't want to purchase a card workout off Amazon, that's totally understandable, or maybe you don't even have a deck of cards laying around, then you definitely want to make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video, because I'm going to show you a workout that you're able to mimic the same thing, and the best of it is it's absolutely free, so make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video for that. In terms of the workout, so before we get started, I actually want to explain a little bit about this Stack 52 and kind of what the cards represent before we actually dive into the workout.
Stack 52 actually comes with 6 different colored cards, and each color represents a different muscle group that you're going to be training. Starting off with the blue, these represent your cardio exercises. Next are the green, which represent your chest exercises. Yellow are your leg exercises. Orange are your arm exercises. Purple are your back exercises, and I was only surprised that there was only 3 in this deck, and the pull-up wasn't one, so I was very surprised about that. And then also your red ones are going to be your ab exercises. So those are the colors, and those are what they represent.
So now that we've covered the card colors, now I'd like to show you how you would interpret a card if you were to get it. So we're just going to use this one as an example. So this would actually be the lunge. So as you can see, it's a yellow card, so that would mean it's a leg exercise. Down there below, you can see there's some text. That's actually the description of how you would perform the exercise. And then down there in the black, so there would be the reps, and there would be the skill level. So it's pretty easy to follow. It's not very hard at all, and they do give you directions in terms of if you were unsure how to do an exercise. However, with that being said, I did actually go through the deck and filter out the exercises that I didn't feel comfortable with doing, and there was actually quite a few. I was very surprised that there was a lot of different challenging exercises that just doesn't really relate to my skill. So to give you an example of some of those exercises that I removed, there are actually 2 push-up variations just as an example. So let's take the Aztec push-up, for example. There's one that I definitely would not be able to do and I wouldn't want to get. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. I don't expect most people are able to do it. And the next one would actually be the Muay Thai push-up. So as you can see there, you're doing a push-up and you're clapping behind your back. That's just far beyond my skill level. I just definitely wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't want to injure myself trying. So because of that, I actually did remove some of the exercises just to make it more relatable to my skill level. Alright, so now it's time to set up the workout, so I'm going to explain how I'm going to do so. So like I mentioned before, I did filter out the exercises that didn't make sense or I couldn't do in my apartment, because I do have people living downstairs underneath me, and I don't want to be doing a lot of jumping and a lot of banging, so I kind of eliminated that. So how I did that was I actually picked 4 cards out of all the exercises and I put them into a pile. So for example, the leg exercises, I picked 4 exercises that made the most sense for me, and then so on for each of the muscle groups, except for back, because there's only 3 cards to begin with. So I just left all 3 cards in the pile. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be dealing out, you're going to see when I do it, because I'm going to do it live, so you know that there's unpredictability and I'm not sure which exercises I'm going to get, because that would defeat the whole purpose of having that card workout to begin with, is that whole idea of just not knowing which one you're going to get and to challenge yourself and have a different workout every time. If I were just to pick the exercises, then it would kind of defeat the purpose of doing it. So you're definitely going to see that. So just to go over the exercises that I picked for each one of the cards. So starting off with the leg exercises. So I actually picked the single leg bridge. That was the first exercise. The second exercise was the scissor squat, the lunge, and the wall sit. So those are the 4 cards that I picked for the leg exercises. Now moving on to the back, like I mentioned, there's only 3 exercises to begin with. So this was they're actually really weird. I wasn't really, well, I guess they make sense because they're body weight and you're really limited on what you have. But like I mentioned, I was surprised that the pull-up wasn't in there, and I understand most people don't have access to maybe a pull-up bar, but you can still do it at home. So anyways, that was so the 3 cards for the back exercises are I never really heard of them before. The I pose pump, the T pose pump, and then you've got the Superman. So those are those are the back exercises, the 3 cards for them. Now moving on to the arm exercises. They're actually all tricep exercises. So I got the tricep dips, the tricep extensions, the diamond push-ups, and the pike up. So those are the 4 tricep exercises that I'm working with. Now moving on to the chest exercises. So I've actually got the T push-up as the first one, the wide arm push-up, the regular push-up, and the Hindu push-up. So those are the 4 chest exercises. Now moving on to the ab exercises. So the first one is the vertical crunch, the reverse crunch, the bicycle, and finally the plank. Now moving on to the cardio exercises. So I got the first exercise that I got is the switchback. The second exercise is the burpee. 4th exercise is the high knees. And the last exercise is the mountain climbers. So those are the 4 exercises that I picked for each of the cards. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal them out. So I'm going to shuffle each one of the decks, or each one of the piles, and I'm actually going to deal out 2 cards. And those are going to be the workouts that I'm going to be doing related to those piles. So that's how I'm going to do it, so that I still have that unpredictability aspect of it. And then as I go through, I'm going to actually flip them up now instead of doing them when I'm actually working out, so you understand that those are the exercises that I got, and then I didn't really cheat and just kind of pick the exercises. So yeah, let's do that. Let's shuffle each of the piles, and then let's see what cards we get. Alright, so let's start off by shuffling the leg exercises and see which leg exercises we get for our workout today. So like I said, there's 4 cards. All I'm going to do is shuffle them. And then I'm going to draw 2. So 1, 2. So I've got the scissor squats and I've got the single leg bridge. So those are going to be my 2 leg exercises. Now let's shuffle the back. Got the I pose pump, and I've got the Superman. So those are going to be my 2 back exercises. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go across. So I'm going to start off with the leg ones that I'm going to go across, and then I'm going to repeat. So then I'm not doing 2 leg exercises or back exercises in a row. So that's kind of how I'm going to do it. So those are the 2. Those are the workouts so far. Now we're going to move on to the triceps. So we got the tricep dips, and we got the diamond push-ups. Now let's move on to the chest exercises. And in terms of the rep ranges, like I might change some of the rep ranges because I don't want to stop if I don't find it challenging enough. For example, like the diamond push-ups, it says 10 reps. I might actually just be able to do, I'm just going to basically go until I can't go anymore until failure. But the exercises are what really matters in terms of the reps. If I find it too easy, I'm just going to keep going. So let's see what chest exercises we get. So we got the T push-ups, and then we got the regular push-ups. So now moving on to the ab exercises. So we got the reverse crunch, and we got the plank. That actually worked out really well. And then now moving on to the cardio exercises that we're going to be doing. Cardio exercise, It's going to be mountain climbers. Second cardio exercise are going to be burpees. So those are actually the ones I didn't want. But that's the point of this, is to kind of get the exercises and to challenge yourself and really give that unpredictability aspect. So like I mentioned with the reps, I'm not going to really be, if I find it too easy, I'm going to keep going. If I find it too hard, I'm going to try to push myself to get the amount of reps. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to actually be starting at the leg exercises. So I'm going to be doing a leg exercise, back exercise, tricep exercise, chest exercise, ab exercise, and then the cardio exercise. Then I'm going to repeat for the second row of exercises. So that's actually going to how I'm going to be separating it. So yeah, if you guys are ready, then let's just dive right into the workout. guys, so there you have it, another home workout in the books. It just goes to show that sometimes all you really do need is a little bit of unpredictability in your workouts, and that could be the motivation that you need to actually get your workouts in. So that was kind of the point of this video. It wasn't necessarily to demonstrate the exercises themselves, although if you do kind of want to take some of them, then feel free for sure to add them into your routine. But it was more about just getting the workouts in and actually being able to kind of enjoy them more, because I do know that if you are trying to do push-ups and dips and everything every single day, it can definitely get boring, especially if you're sequencing the same. So I think by having this card workout and not knowing which exercises you're going to get, it really does increase that enjoyment. In terms of the product itself, I honestly really did like it. I do want to highlight some of the things that I did like about it, and also some of the things that I didn't really like. So the first two things that I really liked about the product, Stack 52, the bodyweight edition, was that they actually included cardio component or cardio exercises. I think that this is a really important part to home training, especially if you are limited with basically cardio equipment, because I do know that most people, well, they're getting nice now with the summer coming, it is easier to go for walks, but being stuck in your home, you can be just focusing on muscle building exercises like your push-ups and your dips and stuff like that, but whereas they have a good mix of cardio exercises like mountain climbers and burpees, and I think that if I didn't have them, I didn't have that component in there, there'd be no way that I would have thought about doing them or even done them to begin with. So I really like that they have a good mix of like muscle building strength exercises along with more cardiovascular exercises. I think that's really great. Another thing that I also really like that I just kind of found out when I didn't really know right off the bat, but I found out when I was actually using it, that they do have barcodes on the cards. And I'll show you what I mean on the screen here, but basically what happens is when you hover your camera, so your phone camera up over the card, it will actually bring up a YouTube tutorial video and show you how to do the exercise, and this can be extremely handy just for anyone who is new to the exercise to make sure that you're doing it right, because some of the descriptions necessarily don't do it justice. So I think by having that component with the YouTube and being able to link that, I think that's an awesome way for doing it. So those are the two things that I really did like about Stack 52. Moving on to the two things that I didn't really like. So the exercises themselves, I found them kind of weird. Just being like the Muay Thai push-up, that was just an example. But if I actually went through the deck, I could show you a couple other exercises that I don't really have time to in the video. But they were definitely weird, and I completely understand that they're limited with their body weight. But just there are definitely exercises that I could think of that weren't included in the Stack 52 that I think are great body weight exercises. So I think that just the exercise selection that they chose, some of them were a little bit weird, with there only really being 3 back exercises. I think that you could have did, for example, with back, you could have had back widows in there. You could have had inverted rows. They're all body weight exercises that you can do at home. Yes, they require a little bit of equipment, but I think if you just if they just put those in there and gave you the choice, and then whether or not you wanted to include them, I think that would be a better way to do it, especially with pull-ups and stuff like that, because I think that a lot of people can do a modification of a pull-up at home, like I mentioned with the inverted rows. So I just think that some of the exercises were a little bit weird or odd. And then another thing that I didn't really like was the rep ranges, or not the rep ranges, sorry, but the sets. The rep ranges was another thing, but I'll talk about the sets first. So the sets basically, they didn't have any type of indication on how many sets you should do, so it just kind of made you think that you should only really do 1, whereas you could kind of be creative, and it's kind of up to you in terms of how many sets you actually want to do. If you want to do 2, you want to do 3. So I think that they left that a little bit too open. I think it would be nice if they gave a range, so if you did like maybe 3 sets or 4 sets or maybe 3 to 4 sets, I think would be kind of a good way to kind of add a little bit more to the product. And another thing that I didn't really like, again, like I mentioned, was the reps. I found that some of them were way too easy. For example, the push-ups, I think that was only like 10 reps. Not saying that people can't get it, but I just think that they should give more of a range, and maybe they should put more of a range, like I mentioned, so maybe 12 to 15 reps or 10 to 15 reps, or maybe break it down based on experience level. So maybe if you were a little bit more experienced and had a little bit more upper body pressing strength, maybe they'd be able to kind of suggest a rep range for those people versus the people who are struggling. So I think the rep ranges and the sets could have definitely been improved. But honestly, overall, I was really happy with the product, and like I mentioned before, the purpose of the video was just to kind of add that unpredictability aspect, and I would highly encourage you guys to definitely check out the product.
Like I mentioned at the start of the video, I would give you guys a free way that you could do it if you didn't want to purchase this staff workout, or if you didn't have a deck of cards. So what you can do, it's extremely easy. So I want to explain what I have set up here. So as you can see over here, what I have is I actually have 5 different cards. This is very easy to do. It might not look pretty, but the point, like I mentioned before, wasn't for it to look pretty. It was to kind of get an effective workout and give you that unpredictability aspect. So I think this is a great way to do it. So as you can see here, I have push, I have pull, I have legs, I have cardio, and I have abs. Each one of the piles contains 4 cards. You can vary this depending on however many you want to include. You can include more, you can include less. But just to give you an example, what I did was, this is very makeshift. I'm not saying this is professional at all. This is just a really effective way to kind of give you that, like I said, that mix of exercises. So what you could do if you wanted to start off with a push exercise, all you had to do is just really flip one up. So as you can see there, push-ups, 15 reps. And I gave the rep range, so you can be as specific as you want. You can cut them differently. You don't have to use bristle board. That's what I use, but you can just use paper and a pen. Just be very simple with it. I wouldn't recommend taking a lot of time with it. You can if you want, but this is just basically how I did it. And then that would be your first exercise. And then let's say you wanted to move on to a pull exercise, you could flip up one. And then that's actually inverted rows. It gives the kind of the rep range. As you can see, very crappy writing. But yeah, that's just kind of, I did it up real quick just to kind of show you an example. And so on. Let's just use another example of legs. You would have Bulgarian split squats. And then cardio, you would have some high knees. And then abs, you would have, let me flip that up. You would have a plank. So as you can see there, there's another way that you can do it. If you don't have cards, like just normal playing cards, because that way you can assign stuff. But let's say you didn't have that, or you didn't want to purchase it, that's a free and a really effective way to really mix up your training.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I do have a lot of great exciting content that's planned in the works that I'm super excited to share with you guys. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also turn on the bell notifications. I want to make sure you guys get notified every time I drop a new video. And for those who are new to my channel, I upload 3 times a week. You can expect uploads every Sunday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. So make sure to turn on those bell notifications. And also give the video a like. I do appreciate all the support, and the feedback definitely goes a long way. And I'll see everybody in the next one. All right, peace out.